get started, I just want to say thank you for all the interactions on the UEFA FFP video. I'll be honest with you, I thought it was not a particularly punchy subject matter, but it was something that annoyed me, and it's quite clear looking at the comments that quite a few of you shared my annoyance with the European governing body. So thanks very much for that. I do appreciate it. Some of the conversations, some of the ideas just in the comments section on that were absolutely fantastic. And also thanks to Woody for sending the video, and thanks to everybody who's interacted with Woody. As I said before, it ain't easy sending a video in and putting it up on the internet, so well done, mate, and thank you everybody for interacting with him so well. I didn't expect any different, in all honesty. Today's video is obviously surrounding a couple of transfer rumours, which I will get to in just a bit, but I just want to touch back on Jarrod Bowen. I don't want to touch Jarrod Bowen, I want to touch on the subject of Jarrod Bowen and him being offered a new contract, which is obviously good news. We want him to be offered a new contract. Clearly that's the case. Fantastic player, fantastic season. But no point going over all that. I did mention him in passing about the contract, but it was in the bigger picture of West Ham's wages each year and how much that would impact our turnover and whatnot, and how much that would penalise us if financial fair play came in, or when it does come in. I didn't actually talk about the transfer. The contract offer itself. Myself and Gio, if you cast your mind back to about a week ago, we both jumped on a video, discussed the breaking news that Declan Rice had been offered £200,000 a week on an 8-year deal with an option for another 2 years, taking it to a 10-year deal. Now, you know what I think about that deal. You know what Gio thinks about that deal. But when we did the video, we had seconds worth of notice. We went live straight away. We were both at home. As soon as the news broke, we went live. And one thing we both said was that it was weird news to put out. Gio made the point that it might be a bit of a hindrance to recruiting players. So anybody that potentially would want to sign for West Ham might say, "Oi, you, look, come on. You're paying him. You're offering him 200 grand a week. We want some of that 200 grand a week." I made the point on the video that I thought it was a silly fire to fight. I didn't think there was any need for propaganda. I didn't feel that there was any need to put the bid out in the public domain to almost say to West Ham fans, look, we tried. West Ham fans all know the club would like to keep Declan Rice, but we're also realistic enough to know that Declan Rice is on his way to being a superstar player. And there is a finite ceiling. There's a limit to how much West Ham can offer. We all know as fans, we're not silly, that we can't pay as big a wages as Manchester City. Let's just leave it at that. So I thought it was a strange one to put out there. Well, something different's happened, and that is the knock-on effect of what it was going to have on someone like Jarrod Bowen. Because Jarrod Bowen is quite within his rights now to go into any potential contract negotiation with the board and say, I'll have some of that 200 grand, please, that you're offering Declan. And so for the life of me, I don't understand why they put the news out there. I don't understand what possible benefit, in terms of spinning a news story. I'd say a spin. I do believe they offered him 200 grand a week, by the way. But the possible benefit of making that public weighed up against what is going to be a complete and utter negative impact when it comes to negotiating with players already at the club, particularly someone like Jarrod Bowen. Now, Declan Rice won Hammer of the Year, all right? Bowen was close. I mean, it's so close that Bowen is actually in the Player of the Year in the Premier League terms, and Declan Rice is in the shout for the Young Player of the Year. That's how close they are. There ain't a lot between them. Such has been the success of Jarrod Bowen. Obviously, Declan Rice has got some England credentials, which maybe he hasn't. But there's a conversation there. The conversation of the debate is, who's the more effective player for West Ham? Now, I would imagine it's Declan Rice, but it's close. You understand what I'm saying? It's not like Declan Rice and Arthur Masuaku, for instance. It's close. And that is why, when you're going to go and negotiate a contract with a player, it was just so silly to put it out in the public domain. I don't know what Jarrod Bowen's going to ask for. I don't know what's going to be offered. It's been leaked what he's going to be offered, which is 120 grand a week. I just wish we'd stop. There's no benefit to it. It is a hindrance. It's a complete and utter hindrance. And anybody that was giving any advice, when I guess it was David Sullivan, thought it might be a good idea to phone up Jim White and give the details of a contract offer, anybody that was advising would have said, don't do it. I just thought it was silly, and it's basically going to cost the club, because realistically, if I was Jarrod Bowen's advisors, I'll be going into that now saying I think we can ask for a bit more. There's clearly money in the kitty. What we know, and the reason it's bad for West Ham is that might impact how much we can offer Declan Rice. We've already ascertained yesterday that there's a finite limit to how much we can offer in terms of turnover, in terms of our wages. There's only so much. Remember, in 3 years' time, it's got to be 70%. With wages, the transfer fees, and the agents' fees. Silly move. Anyway, this was really about transfers. But there you go. I've just ranted about something else for 5.5 minutes. But there you go. Now, before I do, all these transfers have come from the OneFootball app, which you can download by using the link below. Why choose the OneFootball app? It just looks like a generic Premier League app, right? No. It covers all of world football, but when you sign up, you can specify who you support and which national team you follow. So I put West Ham and I put England. What it does, it aggregates all of the news from both of those teams, puts it together and delivers it to my phone. So I don't have to watch or read something about Leeds United or Manchester United, Grimsby, Hartlepool, whoever. I just get West Ham. And I just get England. I get all the team news, all the transfer gossip, all the results, all the fixtures, everything you need to know in your one-stop shop. Use the QR code to download it up there or the link below. Best of all, the app is free. Now, 2 of the articles which are on the OneFootball app, well, actually, to be fair, one of them is absolutely everywhere, and it's Emmanuel Dennis. Now, Gio spoke about Emmanuel Dennis yesterday, and well, go and check it out. Gio did his own transfer roundup show with his pink booklet. Do you know what? I've got a booklet myself. Mine's a blue book. I don't show it off as much as Gio, but probably because I'm looking around now, I've lost my blue book. There you go. He's far better at this than I am. Emmanuel Dennis, Gio mentioned it on his video, the Moyes MOT. And the other player we're going to discuss is Memphis Depay. Both these players fall foul of the Moyes MOT. What is the Moyes MOT? Well, when he did the podcast with Jake Humphries, he told us what it was. About determination, it's about endeavour, it's about application, it's about a will to win, it's about being strong mentally. That's what it is all about. Once you've decided that, then you decide, can they kick a ball, can they do the job I want them to do as a defender, can they tackle, can they mark? But it's that will to win. I think it's that never say die attitude, and it's that Moyes MOT that builds a team spirit. We've got a great team spirit. Everybody says it. I think the coaches also have the Moyes MOT. They're full of characters. They're full of determination, quite frankly, which is why I think we're able to suffer a loss, and it was a debilitating loss against Frankfurt, and then bounce back within the matter of days, a big win against Norwich, and then to put in a magnificent display against Man City. And despite the fact that we're there and the pressure's on, we rise to the challenge. In fact, you might say, I know it's slightly different, completely the opposite to how Arsenal have reacted at the moment, who are wilting under pressure and really struggling with the disappointment of sort of being overhauled by Tottenham. So, I think the Moyes MOT is tangible. It really is, as you would say in modern terms, a thing. Lots of people say a thing. No. But it is. I do think what it certainly is a bona fide set of standards that David Moyes wants to see in his players, and their mental characteristics. When I look at these 2 players, they've both got a history of showing anything but, I'm sorry to say, it sounds a bit rude, doesn't it? But there's no other way of saying that, really. Emmanuel Dennis is massively talented. I think he's brilliant, but he arrived at Watford for a low fee precisely because of the type of stuff that David Moyes doesn't want to see. We talk about the group. He often talks about the group. Well, the group is important because it sounds like a bit of a cliche, but they're a group of people you go to work with every day. And not just go to work with every day. If you're in a European campaign, you're sat next to them on a plane, you're travelling across Europe, you've got to spend a lot of time with these people. You've got to get on. You absolutely have to. And what you don't want is disruptive influences. And Emmanuel Dennis has shown himself to be a disruptive influence. But he's a massively talented player. And if I got him, I'd be pleased. If we got him, I'd be pleased. And I'll tell you why I'd be pleased, because it would mean that David Moyes had assessed him, and the coaching staff had assessed him, and they were deemed that whatever it is was something we don't have to worry about. Maybe circumstantial stuff had caused him problems in the past. So I think at the point, almost in terms of deciding, almost in the manager, I would trust in this one. So look, if it happens, great. It means it's probably going to work out. I think he'd be a hell of a player. I think he would suit the way we play really, really well. Massive handful for defenders, obviously. The other one's Memphis Depay. Now, Memphis Depay is no secret. He was, when he signed for Man United, he was the next big thing in Dutch football. He really was, and he knew it. He's the type. Look, he speaks about himself in the third person, which was never good. Mephis does what Mephis wants. Oh God. You sort of Zlatan. No one messes with Zlatan. Zlatan does what he wants. Yeah, okay. Actually, Ibrahimovic probably gets away with it because he's probably built up enough credit in the bank to do so. He's troubled. There's no doubt about it at all. And I just don't think he would pass the Moyes MOT. So talented, immensely talented. I think possibly plays better for Holland than he does for his club teams. Obviously, at Barcelona at the moment. Not the easiest place to be, I think, certainly over the last year. But then again, they've had a sort of metamorphosis, really, haven't they, Barcelona? They seem to be gradually sorting themselves out. But it appears that Depay is not part of the plan there. And I think that is very much what he's like. He's not part of the plan anywhere for very long at all. Why? Because I guess he's so disruptive, he just can't stay anywhere for any length of time. So, again, immensely talented. He'd be great. I just can't see either of these. And I do wonder when people make up these stories. And, by the way, I'm not blaming the OneFootball app for making them up. The OneFootball app just takes the stories from newspapers and websites. But when people use these as examples, I think you've not really done your homework. You don't know. I may be proved right. Maybe Memphis Depay or... What's his name? Emmanuel Dennis turns up at West Ham. I would be very, very surprised if they do. On these two, I don't think so. I really don't think so. But one thing I did want to say about Rob Newman. Do you know what? No. Do you know what we've done? We've done 11 minutes already. 12 minutes, shall I say? We'll save that for another day because I need to get this video uploaded. And we've already had a video from Woody today. Spoilt, I would say. But in all seriousness, again, I've got to thank you. I can't thank you enough. Thanks for all the interactions on Hammers Chat. Across the board on all videos, on both channels, on Patreon, on everything over the last, well, obviously forever, but in particular the last couple of weeks, there's some really, really, really great interaction, really great comments, and really great stuff going on. Anyway, I will catch up with you tomorrow.